Have you ever said something and then immediately wished you could just take it all back? Words are powerful. They can build up or they can tear down. And Jesus put that very plainly. He said, "But I say unto you that every idle word that men shall speak, they shall give account of in the day of judgment. For by your words," he said, "you will be justified, and by your words you'll be condemned." Matthew chapter 12, 36 through 37. That means the things that we say, even the little phrases we don't think much about, matter deeply to God. So today on the Passage Unlocked, we're going to be looking at 5 things a Christian should never say. Now, in order to really start this discussion, we have to consider a little bit of context found around Matthew chapter 12. Jesus had confronted the Pharisees who accused him of working by the power of Satan. He warned them that their words revealed the true condition of their hearts. And then he broadened it out to basically say every careless word matters. You see, Scriptures consistently reminds us that both death and life are in the power of the tongue. Proverbs 18:21. Paul urged us by saying, quote, "Let no corrupt communication proceed out of your mouths." Ephesians 4 and verse 29. And James compared the tongue to a spark that can set ablaze an entire forest. James chapter 3 verses 5 and 6. Words aren't just noise. They reveal our hearts. And that's why it matters what we say and even sometimes how we say it. Let's kick this off by dividing things out for our understanding. Number 1, stop using God's name in vain. Common phrases like, "oh my God," or "Jesus Christ," when used in an expletive sense, they're just not right to use. Even the shortened phrases like OMG tend to cheapen what is holy. God actually said, "You shall not take the Lord your God's name in vain." Exodus 20 and verse 7. Jesus later taught us to pray by saying, "Hallowed is your name." Matthew chapter 6 and verse 9. When we use his name carelessly, we're teaching the world that his name really isn't holy. You see, God's name should always be revered and never reduced to just slang. Number 2, stop speaking in superstitions. Phrases like "good luck," "knock on wood," or "cross your fingers" suggest that our lives are controlled by chance instead of by God. Instead, say what Scripture says. "If the Lord wills, we shall live and do this or that." James 4 and 15. Or speak like Paul when he said to walk circumspectly, not as fools but wise. Ephesians 5 and verse 15. Our lives aren't in the hands of luck. They're in the hands of a sovereign God. Trust God's providence, not superstition. Number 3, stop using corrupt language. Profanity, vulgar jokes, and crude speech, these have absolutely no place even being in a Christian's mouth. Paul said, "Let no corrupt word proceed out of your mouth, but that which is good and necessary for," watch this, "edification." Ephesians 4 and verse 29. In Colossians 4 and verse 6, we're reminded, "Let your words always be seasoned with grace and seasoned with salt." Even the world knows that foul language is degrading. Why should God's people live down to their standard? Our words should lift people up, not drag them down. Number 4, stop spreading gossip. Gossip is often disguised by the phrases, "I'm just venting," or "I'm processing," or maybe, "I don't know if I should say this, but..." Proverbs 16:28 says, "A perverse man sows strife, and a whisper separates the best of friends." Once words are spoken, they spread like feathers in the wind, and they're almost always impossible to take back. God places gossip alongside of envy, strife, and malice. Romans 1 and verse 29. That shows exactly how seriously God takes it. Gossip divides in the things that God calls us to unite. Number 5, stop making empty promises. Jesus said, "Let your yes be yes and your no, no." Matthew 5 and verse 37. We cheapen our own words when we say things like, "I'll pray for you," but we never do it. Or maybe when we make commitments that we know up front either we can't or maybe we won't keep. Just keep things simple. Ecclesiastes 5 and verse 5 says, "Better not to vow a vow than to vow it and not pay." Christians should be the most trustworthy people in the entire world. You see, words of commitment, they require lives of integrity. Now let's make some practical application. Number 1, Filter your vocabulary. Before you speak, ask the simple question: does what I'm about to say actually honor God? Number 2, replace superstition with scripture. Instead of saying, good luck tomorrow, simply say, I'll be praying for you. And by the way, go ahead and do that. Number 3, build, don't break. Use words that encourage and bless instead of the opposite. Number 4, guard against gossip. If you wouldn't say it directly to someone's face, don't say it at all. And number 5, keep your word. Be known as someone whose promises can be trusted in every situation. Words really do matter to God, and they matter for us eternally. Jesus said that we will give account for every careless word. So let's stop treating words as if they're harmless and do absolutely nothing. Let's start treating them as holy. Whether it's honoring God's name, speaking with purity, avoiding gossip, or simply keeping our promises, our words reveal what is within our hearts, and that should be the heart of a child of God's.